Okay, so can you hear me? Can you see my screen? Sorry.
Yeah, I can.
All right, great. So I'm going to go ahead and close everything I have here. So today we will be looking at, so we looked at some types of variables the other day, right? We looked at
Yeah.
string, we looked at int. Today we're going to look at two new type of variables. Um, Now let me give you a situation. So imagine you need to store fruits, right? You need to store different type of fruits. And so you need to be asking the user need to enter different types of fruits into your system, and you need to store those fruits and then later display those fruits back to the user. What you can do is you can say string fruit one. You can create various variables for all these fruits, right? So you can say fruit one, fruit two, fruit three, fruit four, and you just continue adding it. But imagine the user wants to store 100 fruits. That means you have to type string fruit one, string fruit two, string fruit three 100 times. Do you get that?
Yeah, I get that.
So that doesn't make sense. No one wants to do that, and then it makes you wonder. Okay, so if how do people take inventory then? Do you define a variable for every item in a shop? That does not make sense. So to solve that problem, we use something called lists and arrays. And we're going to start with arrays. So what arrays are? Arrays are collections that allow you to store a bunch of stuff together under one name. Before I talk too much about it, I'm simply going to go ahead and just show you a little code sample so you're not lost. So this is the same console application I have been using. I'll take out all the code we've written so far. You probably still have this. I'm taking this out, and then I'm going to create an array. And so the way to create an array, you don't have to worry too much about this. Just what you need to know is that I am creating an array. I want you to understand what an array is. So I'm going to say array fruits equals new. Then I'm going to say 10 here. Now what I just did is I just created an array named fruits. This variable can store 10 items, can store 10 strings. So the way to store an item here, I'm going to say fruits dot, I'm going to say fruits 0. I need you to ignore what I am doing for now. Just focus on the concept, forget about the code. And so think about this fruits, right, as a basket. Think about this fruit array, this fruit variable that I created as a basket that can hold fruits. Hello? Hello? Ubon, can you hear me? Okay, so as I was saying, you think about these fruits as a basket that can hold several fruits. Now, in this case, we have said that this, in this case, we have said that this basket should be able to hold 10 fruits. So I'm going to go ahead and put my first fruit in it. I'll say banana. I'll put my second fruit in it. I'll say mango. I'll put my next fruit in it. I'll say mango. I'll put my next fruit in it. I'll say peach. I'll put my next fruit in it. Ubong, are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you get what I am doing here? Like, you don't have to understand the code, but do you get what I am doing?
Yes, you're listing the fruits.
Yeah, so for here, I'm gonna what other fruits do we have? So there's someone give me the name of the fruit, please. There's
Strawberry,
okay, strawberry,
guava,
guava.
Apples.
Okay, so I can go apple.
Pears.
Yeah.
Watermelon.
Watermelon. Let's see, which other fruits?
Lemon.
Okay. Lemon. We don't even have orange here. And yeah, that's 10. So we start at 0 and we end at 9. Now there's a popular joke that programmers start counting at 0. This is why. I didn't start my first fruit at 1, I said it at 0. So 0 to 9 then gives me 10. Now, I'm going to do the hate with picture I cannot condone. The original was a fell, why would you want to clone? All these rappers fairy tale. So I am going to go ahead now and I'll print out the contents of my basket. I'm going to use something I haven't taught you guys, but we're going to talk about it too. So I'm going to say for each fruit, in fruits, console, right line, fruit. And I'm getting my console, the red line here. So we're going to run this now and see what it does. You guys might be able to guess what it does, but I'm going to explain that. Let me just run it and we'll see the output. And then, so we just printed out the fruits in our basket. So we have mango, Kobe, that's fine. So we have banana, mango, peach, strawberry, guava, apple, pear, watermelon, lemon, and orange. This is the potential on this thing. Now, the takeaway from here is that all these they're related. So an array allows us to group related data, and then because they are related, we can loop over them. So what we're doing here is we're looping inside. We're saying, okay, give me the items in this list and print them out. Now, the alternative to this would be for me to come and say string fruit 1 equals banana, string fruit 2 equals mango, string fruit 3 equals strawberry, and so on and so forth. But collections, so arrays are called collections. They give us a powerful way to group things together and operate on them. I don't know if you are understanding. Hello? Ubang, do you understand?
I'm on. I guess so.
Okay, so
Not 100% though.
okay, so let me use another example. Let me find a more suiting example. Let's say you're a class teacher, right? And you've graded a student's scores. Okay, let's say you've graded the student's scores. Now, what you could do is you could create one variable for each of the scores. That means you could say int. You could say, you guys, let's keep our mics muted, please. If your area is noisy. So what you could do, you could say int maths score equals 90, and then you go int English score equals 50, and then you just go on and on and on and on. You're creating different variables, and then at the end of the day, there's no there's no relationship between them. Now, instead of doing this, I could say int. I create an int array. Now, the difference when you're creating an array and the regular integer are these square brackets you put. So I'm going to say int, and then I'll call the array scores, and then I'll say equals new int array, and then I need to tell it how many items are going to be in the array. I'm going to say it's going to hold 3 items. And now, instead of me to say math score and the rest, I can just say score 0 equals 90, scores 1 equals 20, and then I put the last one, scores 2 equals 70. Now let me show you the power of this. I can now come here and say scores dot max. Give me a second. Okay, so I just need to import something here. So I can come here and say, okay, I want to know what the highest score the student got was. I can simply come here and say scores dot max. Now notice that in this situation, when I use different variables for it, I can't do this. I can't simply walk up to it and say, hey, give me the maximum score this student got. I can come and say scores dot min, and it gives me the minimum score this student has. I can even say scores dot average. Now, if I want to calculate what the average score is using this method, I have to now come and say math score plus English score divided by 2. And so I'll have to say and result equals math score plus English. So this is variables, but because I have combined it into something called an array like this, I can simply say, it gives me that flexibility to say, hey, take all the items that I have put in this array, give me the maximum value, and then it's going to return 90. I can say, take the items I put in the array, give me the minimum value, and I can say, give me the average. So it gives you that flexibility. First of all, you're not creating variables all over the place. And secondly, it has these special methods that you can really call to compute on. So does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so the second thing we're going to look at is this construct I put here. So this is what arrays are, right? Arrays let you to store related data together. Now let's look at loops. You really can't write a program of any reasonable complexity without a loop, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to do something multiple number of times. There are various type of loops in C#. The first one we're going to look at is the for each. So for each loop takes an array, like this, what we have here is an array. It takes an array or a list. There's a second type that's very similar to the array, which I haven't talked about. So that type is called a list. So we know that for each loop takes an array or a list and operates on each item in the array. Now let us look at how the for each loop looks. So I'm going to come here and say for each, open bracket, I'll now say var item in fruits. Now I am saying for each of the items in fruits, do whatever is here. So it's going to come for the first item, it's banana. It's going to do whatever I say it should do here to banana. It's going to come for the next item. It's going to do whatever I say it should do here for banana. And right now, all I want is to display it to the window. Console.writeLine item. Give me a second, please. I have a call I need to pick very quickly. Hello? Well, so back. So what I'm saying here is take each of these items and operate on it with the codes that I have put inside the loop. And that is why I'm just going to put a console the right line around this so you guys see what it does. Console the right line. Okay, so this is supposed to display the maximum item in our collection. This is supposed to display the minimum, and this is supposed to display the average. So let's run this quickly and see what it gives us. Okay, so obviously our maximum is 90, our minimum is 20, and our average is 60. Our average is 90 plus 20 plus 70 divided by 3. Now let's come to our loop. Now we have just one console.writeLine here, but we have how many items printed out? We have 10 items printed out. This is because we're looping. So we're saying for each of the items that's in our fruits, run this code. So it comes the first time. The first time it comes, let's actually debug it and see it work. So I'm going to stop the program. I'm going to run it, and then it's going to stop executing at this point. And now let us check what is inside item. So the first time it gets here, we have banana in item. I'm going to step two, and then it comes back here. It's back here. Let's go to our window now. Banana is showing. I'm going to step two. What's in our item now? The next one, mango, is in our item. And then I'm going to let it run that code. And if I come to our code window now, I see it has displayed mango. So you start to, I'm sure you guys are seeing the pattern now. And so for a loop, you don't only print out in a loop, you don't only print out in a loop. There are a lot of things you can do with values in a loop. So I'm going to take out those breakpoints and just let it continue to execute. And just let it continue to execute. I'm recording. So that's that with loops. So that is what loops do. Loops allow you to run the same thing multiple times for a set of values. It can be a set of values, it can be a set of unrelated values, but that is what loops do. This is one kind of loop. This is the simplest kind of loop in C#. I don't know, do you guys understand it? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, Kolawole, what's up?
Yes, I understand. I understand.
Okay. Ubong, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No, this one looks easy.
Okay, so do you get the arrays thing now?
I think I'll read on that, but the looping, I got that one.
Okay, so this is one type of loop, and I mentioned another type of lists, right? Let's quickly look at it. So that kind of it's called a list apparently, and it's much easier to use than an array. So the way to create a list is to say lists, open a square bracket. What you want to create a list of what? Let's say I want to create a list of strings. I'm simply going to put a string in my angle bracket. And then I'm going to name it. I did a name for my list, right? I'm going to call it name list. And then I'm going to say equals new list of string. And that's it. So for a list, you're going to get this error. If you get this error, just click the prompt on your IDE and import this. Just click using system.collection with generic. Just click that. It's going to fix it. So now the big difference between a list and an array is this. For an array, we define the number of items that can go into an array. But for a list, we don't tell it how many items can go into it. A list can conceptually take an unlimited amount of items. But for an array, if we say an array can take 3 items, then it can only take 3 items. So how do you add items to a list then? Add items to a list, we simply use the name of the list. So I'm going to say name list dot add. I'm going to add my name. Vincent, your name list dot add. I'm going to say Kume. Name list dot add. So I have another list here. Now this list can take an unlimited amount of this thing, but then there's a downside to it being able to take an unlimited amount of items, which I'll explain later. So I'm just going to come and change my loop here. So instead of looping over my fruits, I'm going to loop over my names list. All I have to change is this. So I have the name list here. So this time I am saying for each item in my name list, display it to the window. I'm simply going to hit play. And I have my names there, Vincent, Kome, Ubong, and Kola. So is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So those are the two kinds of collections. There are various kinds of collections, but these are the two we'll be working with. Now let's clear everything here and use this. And I want us to use these two concepts we've learned, because right now you might be thinking, well, when am I going to need this stuff? So let's assume that we're making an application, right? I'm going to go ahead and assume I'm making an application for attendance, and each student can just come and enter their name. So whenever you get to class, the system is there, you just type your name and you hit enter and you're registered into the class, right? And then there can be an unlimited number of students in the class. And then when everybody has entered the class, the teacher can come and type a word, maybe end, and then the program knows that all the students for the class have entered. I'm going to go ahead and write the program very quickly, and then I'll explain how it works when I'm done. So I'm going to start with a special kind of loop. I'm going to say y string inputs equals
Are you listening to?
Wong, are you with me?
Yeah.
All
I'm
right,
actually
great.
watching you.
So I've written a quick program. Before I explain what it does or how it works, I'm simply going to run it. Let's see. So I'm almost done here. Just okay. So I'm running it now. Okay, so it says welcome to class, enter your name. I'm going to enter my name, Vincent. I hit enter, it tells me welcome to class, enter your name again. I'm going to enter Naomi. It says welcome to class, enter your name. I'm going to type Ubong. Now this can go on forever. So we're assuming that people walk to class, the laptop is just there by the table. You type your name to indicate that you have come to class. And then let's say maybe 10 minutes into the class, the lecturer decides, okay, that's the last person. We're not going to take any other person. So the lecturer comes and types end, and he hits enter. And then it just shows the number of students that has attended the class, and no other person can enter their name because it's no longer requesting for people to listen. Do you get the whole gist behind it? So yeah, that's basically it. Now the way this works is that we're using a kind of loop here that takes a condition. So instead of looping two items as the former one did, it takes a condition. Now it is saying if the input is not end, continue looping. Watch it. So right here, I created the input variable here, and I set it to string.empty. So I am saying there's nothing in this input now. Then down here, I am saying if there is an item, if there's an end item in this variable, then end this loop. If not, continue running. And then in the loop, I am taking input. So in the loop, I basically say, welcome to class, enter your name. And then someone enters their name, and it comes down here and it checks the item the person entered, is it end? If it's not end, it comes here again and says, hey, enter your name again. And it continues to loop until someone types in end. When someone types in end, it simply uses the loop we talked about to run through the, it just prints out all the items that have been entered. So that's how a while loop works. So takeaway from this class today is how to use a list, how to use an array, and then how to use the for each and the while loop. So the major difference between the for each and the while loop is that while the for each loop loops over a collection of items, the while loop will continue to run until a condition is met. The while loop uses conditions very similar to what you use in an if statement. So it's really easy to get started with. You guys may want to look it up after the class. So we're going to stop there for tonight. I'm sure there are no questions. Thank you guys for coming.